Hello, I'm Richard Jack Smith, film critic for Real Talk Movie Reviews. Today I've got something very special for you folks. This is an uber Hip-Notic Soundtrack Reviews. I'm going to be covering Jerry Goldsmith's Leviathan, Mark Smythe's Boar, George Kallis's Cliffs of Freedom, and Terry Plumeri's Black Eagle. So to begin, Jerry Goldsmith's Leviathan. Now I am doing this review as a way of announcing that one of my new books, I'm working on two at the moment, is about three film scoring giants, those being John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith and Terry Plumeri. Escape Bubbles pulses with extra sensory perception, a delightful synth orchestral hybrid. It makes up for the meandering suspense and whale solos. Certainly Leviathan qualifies as a middle effort from Goldsmith. It's not up there with the likes of Star Trek the Motion Picture or The Ghost in the Darkness, both of which I consider top tier Goldsmith. No, Leviathan proves to be a different beast. It's a good effort. There are some strong cues, a couple of weak ones. He doesn't quite get the balance between the synthesizer and orchestra right at all times. I found the introduction, the opening cue, quite enticing. It doesn't really have much of a shape to it, but it does get you amped up for what's coming next. Because let's face it, in the context of the film, once the monster arrived, it really became rather ridiculous. So Goldsmith's task then was to do two things. One, build up the suspense in a meaningful way, as he did on Alien, and then save face when the monstrosity finally appeared, because it just wasn't scary. So on that account, I would give Jerry Goldsmith's Leviathan 3 out of 5 stars, recommended for all Goldsmith fans and newcomers. I read a review of Boar by Mark Smythe on Movie Music UK. If you haven't come across that website, I'd highly recommend it, along with Movie Wave and Film Tracks. These were the websites that first got me into writing about film soundtracks. So what does Smythe's work on Boar sound like? Well, he didn't have an orchestra to work with, which that's not necessarily a detriment. Again, if you consider what the keyboard can do with a creative mind behind it, it can be really effective. Think of Vangelis and the two guys who worked on Split Second, Francis Haynes and Stephen W. Parsons. Yet Smythe really doesn't bring much to the table here, and his ideas rarely formulate into a theme, variations, rhythm and counterpoint. His ideas are very simplistic. It's difficult to get a hook from something that seems kind of all over the place. On the whole, Boar proves to be just that, a bore, B-O-R-E. And that's a shame. This 2017 monster movie, directed by Chris Sun, actually has a rather interesting synopsis which I'd like to share with you now. In the harsh yet beautiful Australian outback lives a beast, an animal of staggering size with a ruthless, driving need for blood and destruction. It cares for none, defends its territory with brutal force, and kills with a raw, animalistic savagery unlike any have seen before. I give Boar by Mark Smythe 1 out of 5 stars. Not recommended on this occasion. Cliffs of Freedom by George Kallis offers remarkable atmospheric and emotional music from beginning to end. Every cue has something unique going on. The use of rhythm, counterpoint, tone and pacing was quite superb. Now Kallis has produced some very noteworthy scores, including The Last Warrior and Albion the Enchanted Stallion. His work came to my attention through Movie Music UK, a shout out to them again. Kallis very neatly and seamlessly combines his themes with ideas both emotional and intellectually stimulating. One could quite easily listen to his music while doing any other number of household chores, but when you actually stop to listen to it, free of distraction, it's a pleasure without bound. Kallis proves to be an exciting talent. He's definitely got his own style, which I appreciate. It's not all the time that you want to hear a composer referencing John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith, James Horner and a number of others. But Kallis knows the music that he wants to present to a listener. And that I always appreciate. For its originality, charm and romance, I give Cliffs of Freedom by George Kallis my highest rating, 5 out of 5 stars. This could be the finest film score of 2019. Composer Terry Plumeri was one of the great unsung talents in the film music, classical and jazz fields. I consider him an emotional genius, and his work on Black Eagle confirms it. From the themes which underscore Shokazugi and his 2 sons in the film, and how he feels bad about spending so much time away from them, to the action cues in which he faces off against Jean-Claude Van Damme in a rare baddie role, Black Eagle certainly proves a fascinating listen. The soundtrack also includes some music from The Terror Within 2. As a listening experience, as action music, as contemplative music, it's a highly recommended listen. The first 6 minutes, an action cue set on the rooftops of Malta, was superb. I love this score, and I enjoyed the film that it accompanied. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. I'll be covering this film more in my book, along with reviews of scores by John Williams and Jerry Goldsmith. For more film and soundtrack reviews, please visit Betty Jo Tucker's website, Real Talk Movie Reviews. On Facebook, you can find my pages, Hip-Notic Movie Reviews and Hip-Notic Soundtrack Reviews. I am Richard Jack Smith, and I will see you next time.